Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Last year there was a trend that was everywhere and I really wanted to do it myself, and it's how much can I knit in an hour? But with a twist. Because obviously you're not gonna knit as much with 3.5mm needles and 8 ones. So that's exactly what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna see how much I can knit its stockinette stitch on this one during an hour, and then we're gonna switch to this one. Same, it's stockinette, but it's 3.5mm. So let's see how much we can do. So it's been an hour and I did 14 rows. I'm probably gonna do 2 more to make up for the time I spent untangling the yarn. But I can't do it now, I have a dance class, I have to go. Don't think my teacher will appreciate me trying to knit as I'm dancing. And then later we can have fun with those tiny needles. So see you this afternoon. So I'm back and I was able to squeeze in 4 more rows during 10 minutes, and I can say I knitted for an hour. And let's see. Okay, so I started here. I did 19 rows, and we're gonna actually calculate how much I did later after I do this one, so we can actually compare. I'm saying actually so many times. So let's get to some knitting. Hey guys, it's the next day. I was able to finish knitting yesterday, but wasn't able to film the reveal. My life is so dull unless I try to press record, and suddenly things happened. Cool things too, like I got to see friends and all, but wasn't planned. Anywho, the results are a bit underwhelming for the tiny one. I expected that. This is how much I was able to do, like from the purple, the top of the purple, so it's really not much, especially when you compare it to this part, what I did all of this. So we gonna get a bit more technical. I'm gonna actually measure how much I've done. I'm cutting my stitches, so let's get closer. So this yarn is bulky. It's supposed to be knitted with 7-8 millimeter needles. It's this one from Zeman. And I used 8 millimeter needles. One row equals 50 stitches, and I did 18, so I did 900 stitch an hour. And we're gonna measure how long it is. Roughly to here, 14 centimeters. Let's write that down. And for this cutie, I use 3.5 millimeters needles, and it's actually classified as a DK light, should say somewhere. Yeah, sorry, DK light. So is my marker, and how much did I do? Like 3.5 centimeters. That's really underwhelming. But each row had 90 stitches, and I did 12 rows, so I actually did more stitch per hour. I did 1080. So on average, I do nearly 1000 stitch an hour. That's cool. And I know knitting is not about being the fastest you can be. It's about enjoying the process. It's a slow hobby. But I'm doing a video on productivity, hopefully, quite soon. So having those data is gonna help me, hopefully. And doing that also can help you estimate how much longer you will have to do, because I can see how big my finished piece is supposed to be and see, oh, I have this much centimeters, and I know I did 1 hour to do this much. Probably gonna do that and use that for the next video. Should I do it now? I should do it now. It will wrap things up nicely. Okay, let's calculate. So the green one is patterned by Fielder. I will link it below. And let's just find how much total. Okay, so I hate math. No, I shouldn't say that. Math is very cool. I just need to find the right formula. How tall is this thing in total? 61 centimeter. I have to do the back and the front. I already did that and that. Okay, so I did some math. And if I count 2 panels, it's gonna take 9 hours per 2 panels. And then the sleeves, I have less stitches, so I'll set a 2 sleeve equal 1 panel. So 3 hours, that doesn't work. How does these... What? It will take me 12 hours to knit this sweater, which seems really not a lot. And I already did 3 hours, so only 9 hours. You know what? I'm gonna count my hours and see if that checks out. Although shaping the neck is gonna be a bit difficult for me. It may take me a bit longer, and there's a bit of ribbing at the beginning of the front panel and the sleeves, and that always takes a bit longer. And I'm not knitting in the round, so I have to purl, and I'm slower on my purl rows. Okay, I am not wanting to see how much longer it would take me to make the smaller one, but shall we count? We shall. For this one, I'm using a pattern by Langion. I'm modifying it a little, and really it's not that much longer because there's basically no sleeves. So I'm looking at only 12 hours to finishing it. I'm gonna say maybe a bit more. Again, there's gonna be ribbing on the other side. And also, I couldn't find a run pattern that I liked, which is not a right move for a yarn like that. Because even if my seaming is perfect, there's probably no chance it's gonna line up perfectly in terms of colors. Do I dare keep doing it? Do you have an awesome tea pattern in the round to send me? We'll see. Anyway, that was a fun experiment. I have some data that I can use and see if I am completely off with my measurement and my counting. If you can actually estimate how much you have left, and that will be a very good tool for a lot of people, knowing if it's worth their time. You know, like, do I have this much hour to spend on a sweater that I want to wear next month? Like, do I have this much hours in my schedule? We're probably gonna redo how much can I in an hour, but divide it during the day, because that's maybe more realistic for some of us. You don't always have a whole hour to dedicate to knitting. Like I said yesterday, I was lucky to be able to knit it, but then I wanted to film and was interrupted by life. It wasn't even bad things, like sometimes you have to do the dishes, you have to cook, take care of something urgent. No, I was just going out for friends and I couldn't take my knitting with me because I wanted to be able to actually record exactly how much I was doing, and I wanted to be in the moment too. So there's that. I'm not good enough to be able to look up when I'm knitting. You can see it in the footage before. I really have to look at what I'm doing, and hopefully in a year I'll do this challenge again and see if I have made some progress. Maybe I won't be a faster knitter, but maybe I won't need to look at my stitch anymore, and that will be so cool. Anyway, see you in the next one. Bye.